kicking it, yeah, we kicking it. When we come to play, yeah, we winning it. We are here to stay, bringing our grit. We so sick with it, we just kicking it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the podcast. Thanks for joining in. Hope you guys this last week was really well. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys were able to safely do some online shopping, all that fun jazz. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. As we transition from Thanksgiving into Christmas, yeah. As always, I'm your host, CJ. Kind of give you guys a little update on what my week was looking like. Like I mentioned in the episode, I was working a pretty long stretch of work. When I punched out ran to punch out Thursday, I ended at 100.04 hours. I don't think I've ever worked that many hours in my life. And yeah, so it's been a long week. I actually feel like I'm behind on recording this episode, because normally I have it done either Thursday or Friday, to where we can know for sure we'll get it out by Monday. Not quite sure when we're going to get this out. It might be, if he can, it might be Monday. It might be later in the week. But it will be this coming week. But other than that, kind of just, trying to get, motivated. Like I said, long week, not enough days off, but is what it is. That's adulthood for you. But no one cares about me blabbing on, so let's jump into it, shall we? So episode 2, we talked about the powerful question of who's checking on him. So I hope y'all went and checked on your strong male friends. Yeah. This week's episode is he's not cold, he's hurt. So let's go. Yeah. Because sometimes when a man pulls away, it's not because he doesn't care, because he's hurt. I'm really got to get better at not looking. But yeah, I know for me personally, there was times where people say, "Oh, you've changed, or you're cold," and blah blah blah. It's yeah, bro, my feelings are hurt, and I think that's a big topic. Some of my therapists and I are working on personally. Just kind of realizing this year, don't have as many friends, real friends as I would have thought. We're really supporters. Which, and, adulting is you and your friends drift apart. That's inevitable. But, it kind of sucks when you're hey, can you, share this, or something, or comment on it, or like it, or something. And they just leave you on red. And then you see them sharing other famous people's stuff, and it's well, okay. So then, a couple days later, you're hey, can you share this episode, or can you share this? Or, hey, I posted a poll, and it's still nothing. Man, it's discouraging. Especially, when it's people, who, at least for me, I've shared their stuff. I've openly been yeah, go do this, go support them in this. And it's oh yeah, I support you, but they're not subscribed to the channel or the whatever. they're not really asking how's it going, or I posted and might want to be on the podcast. No one said nothing, and it's like, all right, which is fine. I mean, most people, like, when they have guests on, it's, hey, do you want to come on the show? So, like, I do have one guy coming on, my homeboy Nolan, who I used to work with at Corwell, so be on the lookout for that. I'm going to shoot him the next couple of topics for this one, and then see where that goes, which one he wants to do. Got to plan around his work schedule. My work schedule pretty much is the same. Same days off, same time. His is too. It's just got to find that right balance. But yeah, a lot of times, like, when I just stop talking to people, I'm not, being angry about it. It's like, one, I'm to the point where I'm almost 30, and it's like, all right, well, I can't just be, waiting for people. So that's why when you hear me shouting out, I feel like it's the same, at least one person for sure, like my little bro Wesley, like, he check on me more than probably anybody, honestly. And I'm not saying that to be rude, like, there's other people that check on me, but he'll literally, text me on Sundays and be like, hey, bro, have a great week. I don't know if he knows what that does for me, but, like, for me, it's like, at least, someone's thinking of me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to always be the one that's, hey, how's it going? Like, hope you're having a good week, blah, blah, blah. Which, I'm that kind of person, but it's like, it's nice to have the other person doing that for me. So we actually saw saw my anime fans out there. We saw the Jujutsu Kaisen movie last night. We also watch a lot of, like, this one creator on YouTube. His name's Rab. He does, like, Hood JJK, Hood Solo Leveling, stuff like that. So as we're sitting there, it's the Shibuya incident, for those of you who watch the show, watch the anime, or have read the manga. So as stuff's going on, I'm, like, leaning over, like, saying, like, the hood dub stuff, and he is trying not to die laughing in this movie theater. But, maybe at some point we can, he'll join us on the couch, and we can actually, you can get both sides of, like, what the friendship looks like. But yeah. So as we kind of deep dive into episode 3, let's talk about emotional shutdowns, not the drama, not the assumptions, the real story behind a man going quiet. Because I feel like a lot of times it's, a lot of this is premised around relationships. I don't know if you guys have realized that. I'm pretty sure you guys have. Y'all some smart individuals. Like, around, like, relationships, friendships, stuff like that. Segment 1, the myth of being cold. He's distant. He doesn't talk. He's emotionally unavailable. Wrong. He's not cold. He's not all these things that you just assume that he is. Yeah, like, what if that's not him? Like, what if he's not, just that way? Like, he wasn't just, since little boy, like, oh, he's been cold his whole life. Nah, bro, like, maybe that's just defense. Like, maybe, as a kid, he was the kid that always, was happy and always laughed and wore his heart on his sleeve, was, like, super open. But as you get older, everyone's like, you got to do this, this, and this. And he's not doing those things. So everyone's saying, you're not good enough. You're X, Y, and Z. And it's like, it's kind of, if you take a heart, like, you take the traditional, like, one of those, right? Every time someone tells him that he's not good enough or he's a failure, it adds a piece of, like, rock around it. and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the illustration of like a rock around a heart because he's protecting himself or her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, okay, this specific series is for men. So is the next one. Because it seems, I'm not going to explain that, I guess. Some men go quiet not out of disrespect, but out of damage. Some disconnect because the connection has cost them too much in the past. So, like, for me, for example, my ex-girlfriend, near the end, used to be like, why are you so distant? Why are you so this and that? Well, when you keep hearing these things of, oh, this person did this, or this person did this, you know, how do I trust you? You know, like, prime example. We went to Vegas, I think it was last year. 24? Yeah. Last year we went to Vegas, but before the trip, we broke up, and then we ended up getting back together before the day. Like, we broke up in like May or something. No, we broke up like after her birthday, I think, in like July, and then we got back together. At the end of July, so right before. But while we were broken up, I wish I kept those. I get a random message from someone saying, hey, don't get back with her, da da da. She's only using you for the trip. And so I'm like, well, that sucks. So I'm like trying to figure out how to change these tickets. And I can't. And so we end up going on the trip. Now, mind you, I paid for the flight and the hotel. And I think like we end up paying for like ourselves for food. But it's like having that like back here, like, no, oh, this motherfucker's only with me. My bad. This person's only with me for this trip. So like that weight, I mean like that whole trip. So I think it's like I don't know if it's the day that we left or it was like, it had to be close. But I'm just not talking. She's like, oh, what's wrong? And I just told her, like, I like have a feeling you're going to leave me when we get back to Michigan because we went to Vegas. And sure enough, she's like, oh, I'm not leaving, da 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 da. Like, tries to gives me a hug or whatever, da da da. Sure enough, we get back. Breaks up with me. I was like, well, that's not fucking money wasted, I guess. But no, I don't want an iOS update right now, bro. But like, that's one big thing of, now it's like I have traumas. Like, how do I trust that the next person is not going to just, use me for something, get what they want, and then, oh yeah, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Because, that stuff sucks, bro. Like, that's just ass. But, like, just some examples is, like, rejection, betrayal, shame. Like, you ever been betrayed by one of your closest people? Like, I've had friends that I thought were, like, this, and then I find out they talking down on my name like I'm not gonna find out, bro. Like, you just think I'm that dumb that I'm not gonna find out, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about him. And I'm not gonna, like, maybe in a year or so, like, there's like people I confide that to. But like, yeah, bro, that kind of stuff sucks because it's how do I now know I can trust the next friend or the next girlfriend or the next whomever because of being betrayed over and over and over. It's like, what the hell do I do now, bro? Like, who do I confide to? Who do I trust? And for me personally, like, it's hard for me to like really gauge who to trust. So like, I work in retail. I've worked in retail. I'm 28. I've worked in retail since I was 18. Some form way of customer service. So I know how to play the game of, laughing at the jokes, da da da, giving like some information like, oh yeah, I have kids or da 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 or X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean? But it's like it takes me so long to like really trust people. Like my circle is so small that it might be 10 people. And the last couple people are just like on a rotating thing because it's like, do I trust you? Do I not trust you? It's like, I don't know, but it's hard to kind of live that way also. So like this time of year for me, it gets really hard because, those of you who know, I lost my brother in February. So like February's hard. Christmas is hard because of the trauma I've had with like parents and like even stuff like as a parent. Like that kind of stuff is traumatic. So it's like, for me, it's like doing, like when it gets dark at like 5:30, it's like, cool, that sucks. It's darker longer than it's lit outside. Oh, and then, I feel like it's always been that way. Like now that like I live alone, to be full transparent, it's like it is harder. You know what I mean? Like I don't really have someone who I can like really go to because again, like we're adults. Like people have lives, people have girlfriends, people have boyfriends, people have other friends. You know what I mean? So I can't, some of my friends who I could possibly talk to are like older than me, so they have, kids who are in like school or whatever. So it's, who do I, sometimes I got to sit with it for the week until I go see my therapist. And I only have an hour and I'm trying to fight, trying to compartmentalize which issue I want to talk about. And so if I'm sitting in the office and the clock is to my left, I'm constantly checking the clock because I don't, want to go over my time. I'm trying to be respectful my therapist time because my therapist has a daughter and they have to go home and it's dark outside, da 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 da. Like, so it's, yeah. The lesson they learned is don't feel, I would say the part of the lesson that I've learned that I've gotten pretty well at, gotten better at not doing was don't feel, don't trust, don't need. But I'm human, you know what I mean? So I can, try not to feel all I want or like not need whatever, but I'm human. Like sometimes I, as a man, need reassurance. Like if I'm dating someone, I want her to be like, hey, I'm really proud of you, or hey, I am glad you are my boyfriend, or X, Y, and Z, or what is it? Don't feel like, for the longest time, I wouldn't allow myself to feel my emotions. Like I would try to be as numb as possible until I had to go put on an act. I'm like, oh my God, da 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 da. No, bro, like I allow myself to. So now, don't get me wrong, like I pick my spots. So like if I'm at work, I turn more into like my introvert self. You know what I mean? Like, so if you ever walk into my store, we have a giant middle table. So that's where a lot of us will sit. If it's slow, we're not doing much, I will sit there and just kind of, keep my eye on the door. Like I'm the door guy. Like I greet people at welcome to blah, blah, blah. What's bringing you in today? Cool. Can I get you checked in? Da, da, da. So while there's no one in there, I kind of sit there and I used to like pull out my phone, blah, 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 but like sometimes I'll just sit there, look at the work iPad, try to figure out something to do and go from there. But I have my certain people where it's like, all right, this is how I'm feeling. You know, can we talk about it? Can we, have a drink, blah, 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 chill, kick it, so on and so forth. Especially like earlier this year, like shout out to my dog Brendan. So many of you know I was working at the bank earlier this year and I was terminated. Mind you, I'm 27. I hadn't been fired like, I don't know, pandemic. Probably it was the last time I was actually fired from a job. So, he was like, hey man, let's go have a drink on me. And I was like, oh no, bro, I got it. Like I can pay for, I've still got a check or two coming. Blah, blah. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. I got it. Like, I know what you guys going on, bro. And he did that a couple times throughout the beginning of the year, like a couple times. And I told him this before, like I'm forever grateful for that because for like a lot of that time, I didn't know like who I was, like what to do, like me not working, I didn't know, like I just felt useless, if that makes sense. So shout out to Dog, like he really saved me in some spots. So that's why when I got the job at Corwell, it was like me, him, his wife, our buddy Kyle, and his wife, fiance, something like that. We all went out for drinks. Well, we all went out for food. And him and I got a drink, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if I told him this or not, but I just was like, oh yeah, cool, I'm gonna buy his drink. So Bill came, I was like, hey, his drink is on my tab, blah, blah, blah. Just because I wanted to, show him the appreciation of, hey, you really looked out for me when I really, to be honest with you, didn't have any friends in my corner. Especially like, I say friends are like my age, like who really wasn't in my corner. So yeah, I just had to, I wanted to reciprocate that, to him. But segment 2, when shutdown is protection. To be honest with you, sometimes shutting down is an emotional shutdown is a survival mechanism. Like sometimes it's your brain, your body just telling you, hey, this is way too much. And it just kind of goes into like a factory reset. Because I don't know about you, like for me, it's like getting overstimulated. I've gotten better with it now. Like I wear, like most people when they see me, they're like, oh, those are dope. They're fidget rings. And I'll just, spin these when I start to get overstimulated, when I start to get, real antsy. But even sometimes there, it's like, how do I process this emotion? And sometimes it is calling someone like, hey, I don't know what the hell to do. Like I'm X, Y, and Z. Like this is what's happening today. And it's like, or hey, this is what's happening this week, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what to do. And it's, walking with someone in that moment real quick. Like, all right, that's going back to like having those people in your corner. Forgot what episode or what segment or something, but I know we talked about having people in your corner. So, and it's common in men because they're not taught how to process emotions, only to suppress them. So it's like when you get like a young man, so hopefully by the time you're 40 or whatever, hopefully you've lived long enough to where like you know how to express your emotions. But when you got someone who's in their 20s, early teens, mid 20s, it's like still trying to really figure it out. It's like you're in a boxing match and you're dodging, bang, you get hit with a jab. You're like, oh, and it hits you again and again and again. It's like, oh wait, hold on, wait. Can we time out? Can we take a breath, please? So like just over and over, it's like, how do we process the emotion? And for some, it's still hard to this day. Like I know men who are telling me, CJ, like I had to really work on saying like, I don't know, whatever. But I have men who are like, CJ, sometimes it's hard for me to express my emotions, and I don't know what to do. Like I don't want it to ruin my relationship, but it's like, well, all right, like if you can tell me what's going on, kind of break it down to what you told me, and talk to your partner about it. Like if that's the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, or that you could potentially see you're spending the rest of your life with, you have to open up. It's kind of, we're not going to throw this in there because I'm not trying to copyright it again. But those of you who have, like, if you've seen the movie Creed, Michael B. Jordan and his wife, there's a scene, I think the daughter is asleep, but the wife is like, I want you to open up, trying to just get him to open up a little bit. And he's just like, nah, let it die. Like, I don't want to talk about it, da da da. Like, he gets real, like, angry about it. And forgive me, I think down the line they end up working it out, but that's kind of where a lot of men are. It's, don't push a man to immediately trust you, because that might end up backfiring. And it sucks, because as we get older, we want someone to care, but it's, like, please don't care so much to where it's overstimulating my brain and my emotions to where now I'm in a fight or flight, and now you're upset and I'm upset. I'm upset that I made you upset and I couldn't express my feelings, my emotions to you like you wanted me to. Now you're upset that it's a whole thing. So I feel like in the moments of, if this is too much, if we're taking it to relationships, it is where we, as, let's just say husband and wife, as husband and wife, we sit down and we try to work it out together. And also, men, if you dating someone, or husband and wife, if you're married to your wife, you also have to realize there are certain things that trigger your wife. So you have to be aware of those things, and also say, hey, don't feel like you need to tell me everything, but give me something. Let me, put your head on my shoulder and talk to me about something. Like, yes, everyone has friends, but I, as your husband, should be your safe space, and vice versa. So I just feel like a lot of us who are, in our 20s, close to 30, that is something, and I would say men and women, a lot of us didn't see, like, I know for me, I didn't see that a lot at home. Like, I had the kind of parents that were like, mom worked all the time, dad worked all the time. Dad started cheating, dad started selling dope, mom's still working. Mom finds, it's like whole thing. Mom, dad, some reason still get married, and mom trauma dumps on son. So now I'm older, I have children. How do I be a better example for my children than what my parents were for me? Like, I never want my kids to see, dad being a terrible person, dad not knowing how to express his feelings, dad not there, dad not present. So, a boy cries and he's told to toughen up. A teen gets heartbroken and he's told to move on. I know for me, one thing I had to learn, one thing that something taught me to kind of go on, a teen gets heartbroken, he's told to move on. That's really true. I remember I dated this girl in high school. It was totally lust. One of my, that was like the whole sophomore year too. And my JROTC instructor, well, one of them, I remember I was crying. I was like, I love her, da 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 da. And he just looked at me like, boy, you are in lust. And I sat back and I was like, teenager, like, man, nah, man, da da da. But like, once you like really and broke it down, like, yes, I was heartbroken in the moment, but it was totally lust. But again, it's move on. Like, don't talk, like, you don't need to talk about it. Like, man up, da da da. But it's like, bro, I'm sad. Like, yes, this might be something like a high school relationship, but I'm still sad. I still am allowed to have feelings. Like, why can't I have feelings? Why I got to move on so fast? I feel like that's why a lot of us, man or woman, boy or girl, we're so messed up the way we are now. Because we're told to move on. Like, we don't know. Bro, like, if you're the trusted adult, let me sit here. Let me, have my feelings. But I feel like for like me, something I like that brings me joy seeing, like on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, is a lot of people like my age, like we're teachers, like we're the nurses, like we're the trusted adults. Like, yes, sometimes it's funny. Like you see the videos and it's like, bro, we got trusted to be the aunts and uncles at the family kickback, but it's like, bro, like, yeah, like all the trauma that like a lot of our parents and our uncles and our aunts gave us, we can protect the new generation, the next generation that's behind us. So like I tell people all the time, like, if my son comes to me crying, I'm never gonna tell him to man up. I'm never gonna tell him to move on. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna listen to him. My daughter, the same thing. And a lot of times, like I have a lot of friends, not a lot of friends, but my friends who we kind of have the same thing. Now I have some friends who, when they had stuff like that happen, they were able to, cry and all that stuff. So they have different traumas than me, but they understand what I'm going through and I'm understanding what they're going through. So, like, I'm not gonna, Brendan, for example, we talk about it all the time. Like, I'm the godfather to his oldest, and he's the godfather to mine. And we'll talk about it all the time. Like, yo, I want my kid to be able to know that, like, dad is an understanding, compassionate male. And so luckily for me, as I'm, freshman in high school, think I know everything, but it's, I'm seeing like some of my male teachers, they're like, oh, I'm married, da da da, you get the introduction, I'm married, X, Y, and Z, and you kind of get the peel back of, oh, this is how they talk to their wives, this is how they are with their kids. My ROTC instructors were like big on that, Yes, it was tough love. It was, hey, you gotta do this, this, and this, but it's what's going on. Like, why are you this? Normally, you're better than this. Let's get you back to where you need to be, And then moving more into young adulthood, my first kid I had in high school. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, I drop out, like I start working, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm parent, I'm dad, I'm boyfriend, I'm employee, da da da. I'm still son, da da da. But it took me a while to. It took me to get like a lot more role models. I was kind of doing this like youth group thing on Wednesdays. It was called Open Gym. I think they still do it by Union High School. So we're shooting threes, and there's like a Bible study. To be honest with you, I'm going for the Open Gym part and the meal at the end. Bible study was cool, blah blah blah. For some reason, people grab it like, oh yeah, CJ, you good lead the group, da da da. Whatever. Then I started doing this thing called Campus Life. That's on Thursdays. I'm going for the stacks and, CJ, you're leading a group, da da da. All right. But I'm really not like, what you would think when you think of a youth leader. You know what I mean? And then, the tragedy of my brother happens, and I don't say my life, my life changes because it really unlocked like all of the mental demons that I had going on in my life. So I wouldn't say more locked in, but it was like, bro, I'm trying to like really make sure that I'm all right. You know what I mean? So same thing. I'm still going, open gym, but I'm paying more attention to the Bible study. You know what I mean? The open gym is cool. Get the hoop or whatever. I'm still kind of in shape. I'm still around 250, 245. So bang. But now when they're like, hey CJ, for Campus Life, we want you to, be like a real leader, da da da. We want you to, lead, tell your testimony. So that was the first time I really told my testimony about, what my life was like, growing up, and then, the tragedy of my brother. And that's when I really found out how powerful your story can be. And, people have heard it before, but, I might, break that down one day. But a lot of people were looking at me like, bro, how is he a leader? He's not even that old. Yeah, but, you start carrying yourself a certain way, and it's, but then it goes back to, you got them eyes on you, it's that pressure on you. But I had a lot of leaders who were married, who had kids, who I could like ask, because I'm a young father at this time. Like I got a 6-month-old, so I'm asking trying to ask all the questions of how to be a good dad, how do I balance work, and da 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 da. And one thing I was told that I ended up telling one of my friends who had a kid about a year ago is you're never going to be perfect. Just keep God in the center of your family. Take care of your wife and your kid. And take care of yourself. Well, that's one thing I learned. For some reason, no male that I've ever asked, first having a kid is take care of yourself. Why? I don't know. But, yeah. So like that stuck with me. Like as I gotten older, I was like, man, I wish I'd have really, mentally taken care of myself a lot more, like emotionally taking care of myself, because, maybe I wouldn't have tried to unalive myself and it basically working. You know what I mean? But we all have trials and tribulations. We all go through stuff. So now I kind of got like a second chance. When I had a son, it was like, all right, I'm in like a better situation mentally. Like, wasn't perfect. The relationship was like, we were good. It was a whole thing. Like, but I remember one time, about a year ago or so, I remember one time, a year or so ago, it might have been longer than that, but I remember one time she had asked me like, something about like kid or like another kid or something. I was like, I don't know. Like I'd have to be like in a real strong place, because when she was pregnant with our son, I was working, then got a promotion at work, and I tell you this was the worst experience of a job I've ever had in my life. My store manager quit. The other assistant quit. So I got promoted from cashier to assistant. And how it used to work is you have store manager, assistant 1, assistant 2. So I was under the assumption and was told I would be the second assistant. That's no problem. I'll do the second shift. Cool beans. I find out later, no, when I get to the store, I'm fast tracked to first assistant. So the other assistant finds that out. She quits. So then it throws off my training. I come back to the store. My store manager's like, hey, my mom passed earlier this year. In Minnesota, the ground was frozen, so we couldn't bury her. Now it's warmer. I'm going to go to Minnesota, bury my mom, come back. No problem. Sorry about your loss. I wouldn't, I didn't know that. So the day she's supposed to come back, my area manager, he called me and said, yeah, she quit. And I was like, oh. So from being the third manager in the store to now being the store manager, basically, was real fast. And I was like, oh, bro. And it took a lot on our relationship. Obviously, her being pregnant. And then, I think we argued all the time. We argued a lot. And that's something I regret. But more people are starting to know this, but there was one time where I really thought about just ending it. I was that wasn't enough to where I really was going to it. I was just like, yeah, bro, I don't know if I can keep doing this. My relationship's failing, my job's failing. I got this dude on my ass. Then we finally get a store manager, and it's I'm working the same amount of hours. Now I really got a boss, and they're not doing as much. So, but how do I tell someone I'm overwhelmed? Oh, you're overwhelmed? Cool, go bust another 8 hours out. Go do this, do this. And I've told people this a lot. I thank Leander all the time. Well, when I see him, especially when I saw him when I worked at Best Buy, he was one of the ASMs at my old store. And I'll never forget, he came into the gas station, and I had a new hire, register broken, and he was like, hey, you need a new job? And I was like, y'all hiring for managers? Because I'm like, bro, as shitty it is, I am a manager, bro. You gotta, sorry, I'm trying to see what we're looking at on time. That's, damn. But I ended up leaving that gas station job and going to Best Buy, and that probably saved my life and my relationship with my son's mom. So shout out Best Buy, I guess, for me still sitting here, to be so real with you. But yeah, when they always tell men oh, you work harder, and it's yeah, me working harder is gonna get me to an early grave. I'm not gonna put my family through that. So yeah, fellas, if you feel overwhelmed, depending on where you work, if you have the PTO, please take it. Take a day. Take a mental health day for yourself. Don't feel like you need to just be Superman. Be regular Joe Schmo, bro. It's all right. The world's gonna survive without you being over the top Superman, bro. That's something I had to learn a long time. So now, I'm new, so I don't have the PTO or whatever, but and I don't take those kind of days often, but I tell myself if I'm overwhelmed, I'll take a day. If I wake up and I know I have time to, if I'm within the calling policy and or the day before was just a lot, I'll take a day. All right, bro, hey, I'm not coming. And I got the kind of management team that's cool. You got the flex time? Down the road when I get it. Cool. See you tomorrow. Or see you whenever. Just take care of yourselves. People like, I tell people that all the time, like, jobs will replace you like that. Take the time. And if they got a problem with it, that's on them. Now, segment 3, under the surface. If you've ever been on the other side of a man's silence, you'll hear this. He's not broken, he's protecting what's left. Under the shutdown is a story. I tell people all the time, like, well, I've heard this a lot recently this year. You are a lot stronger than people give you credit for. So I've been through a lot this year, bro. And like, yes, I talk about it with people, or like, I'll post like the snippets on like social media, like, oh, pray for my family this, or pray for me this, or oh my God, I just got fired, or oh my God, it's hard to find a job. But it's like the amount of stuff that I've been through, like, it's like walking on hot coals, and I just couldn't let myself quit. I have too many people that need me here, even on the days where I feel like I'm living for them instead of myself. That means I'm still feeling something. And I'd rather feel that than nothing. So like, you know, there's reasons why he's silent. Like maybe he's going through some stuff. Maybe he's grieving. Like you don't know what he's lost. Like breakup. Maybe like I remember when my son's mom and we broke up, and I was like, yo, I need a day. I think I took like 2 days. And I still went all right when I came back to work, but I was like, okay, well, I gotta go back to work. But I allowed myself to, you know, be in bed all day for a couple days because I was hurt. I was sad. I was like, this is the person I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. They threw me away like trash. Yeah, bro, my feelings are hurt. I'm gonna take a day. Simple. You know, for some minutes, they're scared to try again. Like, I know some people who, if they finally get out of that shell and they get hurt, they don't want to, you know, do that again. Like, they don't want to open up to someone else. They just, and I'm like, you know, you can't do that. Like, that's not good for your life. Like, you have to, you know, unfortunately, you have to deal with the heartache, deal with the heartbreak. And I'm not saying just immediately jump into something new, but it's allow yourself to heal before jumping into something new, you know, or grieving. My brother's been gone 2018 or so. No. Almost a decade now. I still grieve him every year like it's the first year. It took me a long time to really accept it, but, you know, I grieve him every year. And I'm not going to let anyone, you know, tell me I need to move on from it. You lose a close sibling. Like, you lose someone that you love, and you tell me that you aren't grieving every day, and you aren't grieving. I haven't seen my oldest since she was 3. She's 10. I cry on her birthday. I don't cry, but the world gets a lot darker on her birthday. I don't know like what, if she's all right. Like I can't see her, like I can't touch her. And it makes me sad. So yeah, like I used to take her birthday off and I would just sit. But, it's like grieving someone that's gone, but they're still alive. And so, hopefully, sometime soonish, I'll be able to see her. But um, but yeah, even when he's silent, he's still feeling, still processing, still wanting peace. That's the one thing I tell people all the time. Like, I'm not gonna let you disturb my peace. This year I've worked way too hard to get it back. I really lost a lot this year, last couple years. And I'm working my ass off to get it back. And one thing is I will never let someone disrupt my peace. So the moment I feel like someone's doing that, they are out of here. There ain't no 3 strikes no more, bro. You are out of here. I've worked too hard to keep my peace. That's because that's the only thing I can control. So I've processed a lot. Like, I've forgiven. I haven't forgiven. But I won't forget. I won't forget how someone's done me dirty. But, and if you're that man, know this. You don't have to keep hiding the hurt. You're allowed to feel and you're allowed to heal one breath at a time. So, on the next episode of, Unscripted, actually, no. My bad, I had a whole jump to the end. So next time someone calls a man cold, ask a deeper question. What made him that way? Like, what made him freeze? Like, what made him so cold that you think he is? Because healing starts not with fixing, but understanding. If you're not going to take the time to understand, don't be there. Like just don't. Like, don't assume nothing. Like, ask the question. Like, it's not that hard. Instead of assuming, just ask. But, yeah, because healing starts with fixing. Healing starts not with fixing, but understanding. But, yeah, that has become the end of our time tonight, or today. On the next episode, we go even deeper. We go for the dad wounds and emotional blueprints. How our fathers shape the way we show up emotionally as men. But yeah. So, until next time, fellas, keep showing up for you, even on the hard times. See you next week.